Welcome. Thanks for joining us. If you are enjoying this content, please like, share, and subscribe. It helps joy travel. Good morning. Welcome. 1,000 welcomes to you all. It's a great joy and gladness to meditate together this morning. We are focusing on a meditation topic. Everything is here. So everything is here. And if you're listening later to this, I'm pointing within myself to the heart that is within each of us. Everything is here. So when we meditate and when we share the sacred teachings of the yogic tradition, we're inviting ourselves to turn within and to connect with the source, with the light, with that energy of joy and generosity, that energy of kindness, that energy of wisdom that's always right here. So all of these scriptures, all of the teachings, all of the meditations are invitations to connect with that. It's already here. And as we connect with the everything that is already here, it will also naturally flow into our lives. That energy flows into our body, it flows into our heart, it flows into our mind, flows into our lives as well. So it's a great joy to share with you. This is a teaching from Swami Nityananda, who was the amazing founder of our meditation community. And he says, and this is, I think, an antidote for if you've looked at anything within yourself or within anyone else or within the world over the last week, and you felt fear, or you felt concern, or you felt alarm, or you felt frustration, this is healing for that perception within yourself. He says, see the world as God's world, including everyone and everything in it. Your perspective changes from the old worldview of narrowness and limited thinking to a world in which you want to participate, a world of mutual beneficence, a world without fear and suffering, a world full of joy and cooperation. And so we're inviting ourselves to shift our perspective, to shift our focus, shift our attention, shift our energy, shift our awareness. So anywhere that we have been aware of fear within ourselves, we're inviting ourselves to flow love into that feeling. And then anything that we've been looking at in our own lives or in the lives of those we love or in the lives of the world, as we look out upon the world, if we are aware of fear, if we are aware of narrowness or limited thinking, if we are aware of suffering, we're invited to flow that energy of beneficence, which is the energy of generosity. It is the energy of abundance, and it is the energy of sharing that gladness and that abundance. And then we're invited to flow joy and cooperation. And we do this first by filling ourselves to overflowing with this energy of joy, this energy of cooperation, this energy of sharing, this energy of beneficence, which is one with the energy of abundance and the energy of allowing that abundance to pour through us and share through us. The Bhagavad Gita offers a very similar teaching. And so this is from chapter 6, it's verse 31. And the voice here that is speaking is the voice of that divine light that is magnetic and irresistible. So there is a divine magnetic light and energy that just, you see it and you're sort of like magnetized to it. That's the voice that is speaking right here. I am the indwelling reality of all beings. And so within the heart of each of us, and also within the heart of every being on the planet, is this energy of light, this energy of magnetic light. One who worships me, this energy of magnetic light, as the one and the absolute, abides in me. In whatever state of existence they manifest their life. And so I'll just comment on this a little before I share some invitations to connect with this directly and feel this. What this is saying is that each of us, no matter in what state of existence we are manifesting our life, we all are manifesting our lives in different areas. And so you can take that, we're here in a different body, we're here in a different geographical location, we're here in a different family, we're here in a different profession. All of that is part of this incredible outpouring of the one in time and space. And what this is saying is, at the heart of all of it, is the one and absolute. That magnetic energy of light is right there at the heart of all of it. And when we are in contact with that energy of underlying calm, underlying clarity, The ability to look upon anything that we're observing and just have that sense of peace, that sense of awareness that divine wisdom and love are present here also. There's nowhere in the universe that is separate from divine love and wisdom. And so we are then in that energy of awareness, that energy of connectedness. And so naturally, what happens is we are able to move through time and space in a feeling of joy, in a feeling of peace, no matter what state of life we are manifesting ourselves, and no matter what state of life others are manifesting themselves as well, because we're in contact with the one light that manifests as all of this. Okay, so I'm going to start to share just a couple of fun invitations and opportunities to connect with this. So I think one of the first ones, and this is, I smile because Dhruv and I did not coordinate on this, but you'll see some points of connection. So we were both listening to Radio Oneness and are sharing what we were hearing from Radio Oneness. So I'll just share the story. So a couple of weeks ago, I came across a video online, and I think it was about a 4-year-old who was being interviewed. And the interviewer said to him, if you could go anywhere in the world, where would you go? And he said, that way. And the interviewer said, Paris, France? That way. And then the little boy said, look at those people, they're running that way. That's the way that I want to go. And then the next day, after having seen this video, I had a conversation with the 3-year-old. And I said, if you could go anywhere in the world, where would you go? And he said, daycare. And so, I mean, first of all, that's a good daycare. But second of all, both of those examples are young people fully present in their lives, loving their lives right where they are, just loving right where they are. And also having clarity about, I know I like going that way, so that's the way I want to go. I know I like going to daycare, so that's the way that I would like to go. And so for each of us, we are invited to keep the adult wisdom, please. It's hard earned, so please keep the adult wisdom. But emulate that ability to be fully present in our lives right where we are. And then also emulate having the clarity about where we would like to go next. And also, those young people had such awareness. Well, I want to go that way, and I can go that way. I want to go to daycare, and I can go to daycare. So we're inviting ourselves to have that same faith and that same confidence. And believe it or not, this connects with a very sacred teaching from the yogic tradition. This one is shared by Sri Ramakrishna. And he says, eminently good advice for all humans, if you want to go east, don't go west. And so for each of us, just to have the clarity about our own intentions and to trust, like if I know that I want to go east, then please let me make choices that move me in the direction of going east. And so just choice by choice, thought by thought, action by action, allow me to go east, if that is my intention. And let me, with that same joy and confidence that was demonstrated in those answers from the young people, just continue to have that clarity, be fully present in my life, loving my life exactly where I am right now. And then also having that awareness, I choose to go east. And so guess what? Then I'm not going to go west. And if I find that I have taken a step west, I'll notice and I'll self-correct and I'll turn back around and move toward the east. Okay, and so another teaching, and this is from the Mundaka Upanishad, from the yogic tradition, and this comes to what we started with, that when we are adult humans, we also have this ability to look out upon the world and be aware of fear, be aware of suffering, be aware of misery. And so there's this aspect of ourselves that says, what do I do? When I become aware of this, what do I do? And so the story from the Upanishads is advice for all of us when we have that feeling, when we have that awareness. And the story from the Upanishads, it's very simple. It says that there is a tree, and in that tree there are 2 birds, and one of the birds eats of the sweet and bitter fruit, and the other bird does not eat of the sweet and bitter fruit. and it simply calmly observes. And this is a metaphor for, you could say this in different ways, the human aspect of ourselves is the bird that is eating of the sweet and bitter fruit. So if we are in time and space, like you might eat one strawberry, it tastes really sweet. And the next one, you're like, wow, that's not as sweet as the last strawberry that I ate. And so that's just natural. Like in time and space, when you have sensory perceptions and awareness, you sort of might notice, well, that was a sweet experience. That was not a sweet experience. So you'll have that awareness in time and space. And what this story from the Upanishads is reminding us is there's also the unmoving light within ourselves. And so this is the light that is the core of our existence. It's always calm, and it always has the ability to be observant and aware, but to not identify with the sweet and the bitter that happens in time and space. And so I'm inviting us to actually feel what that feels like. Be aware of the aspect of yourself that is aware of the sweet and the bitter, but also might identify with the sweet and the bitter. And also might think there's something wrong with me because I tasted that one strawberry and it was sweet, and then I tasted the next and it was less sweet. You're in time and space. It is of the nature of time and space for some things to taste sweet and some things to taste bitter. And so the story is telling you there's nothing wrong with you, but are you overly identifying with that aspect of yourself? And so if so, see if you can turn within and identify with the unmoving light within yourself. So Adi Shankar says there is light within us that is unchanging, always present. And the eternal aspect of ourselves is that unchanging, always present light. That unchanging, always present light is there in the midst of the sweet experience. It's there in the midst of the bitter experience. It's not changed by any of those experiences. And so when we have that clarity and that awareness, then we can choose in wisdom and in freedom, in non-attachment and in joy, how we are present to our own experiences of pain. And as we gain ability to be present with our own experiences of pain, we will also gain ability to be present with the experiences of pain that we might see others going through as well. And so another question just to ask is, have I been overly identifying with the pain that others have been experiencing? And so this is a teaching that reminds us, Buddhist teachings offer much the same advice, that if we are aware of those who are experiencing sorrow, we don't help them by becoming sorrowful ourselves. And so it's a really interesting balance to be aware of the sorrow that another might be feeling without carrying that sorrow in my own body, without carrying that sorrow in my own energy field. And what the yogis and the teachings from the one who is awake, the Buddha, say is we're actually able to be more compassionate if this is what we practice. We're able to be more in contact with kindness. We're able to be more in contact with wisdom. We're able to be more in contact with the energy of generosity and abundance and joy and gladness. And there's more light that can share through us if we're not feeling, and I'll just invite you to feel, if you have been trying to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders, it can make the neck and the shoulders feel very, very heavy and strained. And it can sort of like constrict the natural flow of energy in ourselves, which can sort of, maybe not this week, but the week before, I noticed I was watering some plants and I accidentally stepped on the hose for a moment. The flow of water stopped. And so we want to keep the flow of energy moving very, very freely. And if we are overly identifying with the pain that others are experiencing or the pain that we are experiencing, it's stopping that natural flow of energy. So I want to be really honest here because it's also important we're not suppressing pain, we're not repressing it, we're not denying it, we're not running away from it, but we are connecting with the light within ourselves. And that allows us to keep moving forward through it. And that allows us, as we connect with the light in ourselves and we keep moving forward, it allows us to be present with others. It allows us to be present and to move through the world while allowing that energy of of light, that energy of life, that energy of wholeness to be able to share through us. I'm smiling. Swami Nityananda says, it's basically the same teaching that I just said. Grace has wings of love. And so we're just connecting with grace. We're just connecting with wings of love. So it's the ability to fly, the ability to soar above the clouds while having our feet on the earth, while being fully present in human lives, in human bodies, in human relationships, carrying out faithfully and steadily the work that we're all here to do, being helpful and hopeful, being kind and of service. Swami Nityananda says also, grace has wings of love and the light of beauty and healing energy to radiate everywhere. And so for each of us, just to connect within the heart of each of us is grace that has wings of love. And so turn to your own heart and greet within your own heart that grace that has wings of love and the light of beauty and healing energy to radiate everywhere. And when we're in contact with that grace, that healing love, that beauty, that ability to soar, what we will find is that we are able to constantly move in the consciousness of perfection. Another teaching from Swami Nityananda is that one who lives in the consciousness of perfection is also in the energy of abundance. So also there will be a natural sharing of what is joyful, what is glad, what is generous, what is kind, what is optimal when we're living in the consciousness of perfection. Back to the very beginning, this is possible if we see the world as God's world. So I'm just noticing, how have I been seeing the world? Have I been seeing the world as God's world? Or have I been thinking that somehow this world is mine to fix? If I think that this world is mine to fix, I'm going to be really tired really quickly. But instead, if I realize that I am invited to love the light within myself and the light within everyone and everything, then I'll realize, oh, the light is already everywhere. The light has my back, and the light has everyone else's back as well. And so then what I'm able to do is radiantly connect with that light within myself, radiantly connect with that light within everyone else. And then instead of sort of like, it can be easy sometimes, I think, from a human perspective, we need to be diligent. So please keep being diligent. We need to be responsible. We need to be respectful and present and aware. Please keep being that. But it's not drudgery. It's not like, oh, I'm walking through gumbo, and it's going to pull my boots off my feet. But instead, it's like I'm putting on my 7-league boots, and I'm going to take a stride across the Milky Way because I know the light is here. I know the light is already everywhere. And so then, do you feel the difference in energy? So you might actually be doing the same work. You might be having the same conversation. You might be making the same phone call. You might be showing up for the same appointment. You might be in the same high-powered meeting. But if you have that awareness of, oh, the light's already here. The light's already taking care of this. I'm just tuning into what's highest and best in this moment. And I'm opening to that. And so I'm open to the way, this effervescent outpouring and joy and generosity and gladness of this light that is sharing. And so then that's what's sharing through me. And that's also what's sharing through everyone else who's in that room as well, through everyone else whom I'm encountering as well. And so we're still fully present. In fact, we might say we're only fully present if we're able to be in contact with that light. And what has melted away is the feeling of attachment. What has melted away is the feeling of aversion. What has melted away is the feeling of fear. And so just really quickly, I'll share a couple of teachings from the yogic tradition which tell us that meditation helps us. So the Yoga Vishishta says, water the seed of meditation. So each of us has the seed of meditation. If we're here, we are in contact with that seed of meditation. Water the seed of meditation. Protect it by peace and contentment. That's really interesting advice as well. So peace and contentment protect the seed of meditation. Let go of desire, attachment, pride, greed, restlessness, and unawareness. So the teaching actually says let go of ignorance, but most people don't like to be told they're ignorant. So I sort of translated it as unawareness. But if you're willing to look at yourself and say, I'm totally able to let go of ignorance, show me divine grace. What ignorance am I invited to let go of? That translation works as well, if you like that translation. And the teachings also say, seek satsang. So seek the company of those who love the light. Seek the company of those who love to meditate. And as we gather, and you can feel this, like when we're physically in the same room meditating, it helps us connect with that energy of meditation. It helps us water the seed of meditation. And also when we connect on Zoom, when we connect on YouTube, it helps us connect. It helps us water the seed of meditation. And if you would all have the option, come in person, because it's amazing the gifts that we give ourselves when we connect with that light within ourselves and within everyone who is meditating. The teachings also say practice generosity and compassion. And so generosity and compassion, that energy that we were speaking of previously as perfection within ourselves, consciousness of perfection within ourselves, that connects us with abundance, which naturally and spontaneously will share itself in generosity and compassion. Supreme peace or bliss is only attained when you go beyond the conditioned states of consciousness. And so I'll just pause and invite ourselves to connect with the truth and the reality of that. So each of us is probably aware, Dhruv was naming this earlier, we have the opportunity, if we would like to identify with limitation. So there are plenty of opportunities to identify with limitation. And what this says is, yes, those invitations are there. You get to keep moving through them, and you get to go beyond them. And on the other side of them, you will find infinite consciousness. And that's where you also find bliss. Another way that the teachings put this is the division between the mind and infinite consciousness drops away. And so see if you can just imagine the division between the mind and infinite consciousness, it just melts. So the light in you is in contact with the source of all light. And then the separation between you and the source of all light just melts. And another way of inviting us to feel that same realization, and I'll actually invite you to close your eyes right now as you connect with this. Feel the love of your being. This is the energy of pure love that is at the core of your being. So you're opening your heart and you're greeting the pure love within your own heart. And now see if you can feel the way the source of all love loves you and surrounds that pure love within your own heart. So there's the pure love within your own heart surrounded by the source of all love. And then just allow yourself to melt. Allow your own heart to melt into the source of all love, and allow the source of all love to melt into your own heart. If you have the opportunity to meditate with us later, I invite you to remain in this stillness, allowing the mind to melt into infinite consciousness and allowing the heart to melt into the source of all love. Right now, I'll just name that this is direct felt contact with the grace that is wings of love. This is direct felt contact with the spirit of abundance. This is direct felt contact with the consciousness of perfection. That pure energy of joy and compassion and gladness. That pure energy of wholeness, which naturally radiates silently everywhere that we are and naturally shares itself through us using our particular talents and our particular skill sets. So if you like, keep your eyes closed. I'm going to blink mine open just to share one more comment And this is something funny that I came across, I think not this last week, but maybe the week before. So I just saw this little posting online. Someone was commenting that 8 years ago, they went to the dentist, and under the question, by what name would you like to be called? They wrote, the chosen one, and forgot all about it 8 years ago. And then recently went back to the dentist and overheard the receptionist say to the doctor, the chosen one is here. And realized that this whole time, the dentist's office had been referring to them as the chosen one. So they set that into motion and then just forgot about it. And so, hilarious story. And this is inviting each of us to ask ourselves with really good humor, by what name have I been calling myself? What name did I set into motion 8 years ago and then forget about? And by what name have I been calling myself? And can I give myself permission to become aware? And if there's a better name that I can call myself, can I allow myself to call myself by that name? And I'll just say a few of the ways that your true name is named in various traditions. You are a child of immortality, the yogis say. You are a child of bliss, the yogis say. You are a child of the divine parent. You are the one who is awake in potentia. That awakeness that shares through the Buddha is present in each of us, and we are invited to wake up to that and then to live in that energy and in that realization. You are the energy of wholeness, the energy of healing, the energy of grace, the energy of compassion. You are the energy of pure light. You are wisdom within you. You are all the love in the universe, present in your own heart and sharing beautifully and blessedly and blissfully with you, and also through you, silently and wisely, everywhere that you are in daily life. Thank God, and God bless us all.